One day after people. In the heart of Manhattan, the Federal Reserve Bank of New York still guards the vast wealth of depositors who will never return to claim it. It holds more than 500,000 gold bars, worth roughly $200 billion. The accumulated wealth of some 60 foreign governments and central banks.
There is more gold in the basement of the Federal Reserve Bank in Manhattan than has been gathered any other place on Earth and any other time in history.
The gold is stored 80 feet below street level. The narrow opening to the vault is protected by a rotating 90-ton steel cylinder that forms an air and watertight seal with the surrounding 140-ton steel and concrete frame.
The gold lasts pretty much forever. The whole point of having gold is that it doesn't corrode and doesn't tarnish. And there's nothing in nature that can dissolve gold.
Gold is one of the most non-reactive metals on Earth. So when it's exposed to air or water, its molecules resist disintegration. But other metals in New York City won't fare so well. Uptown from the Federal Reserve Bank, the steel canyon walls of Times Square are still a glittering urban shrine. But the streets have turned eerily quiet. In the time of humans, it was one of the loudest places in a very loud city. Sustained exposure to sound over 75 decibels was deemed dangerous to human ears. Yet the ambient noise here measured 80 decibels. Honking horns peaked at 90 decibels. And a passing ambulance siren screamed at 120. Now these sounds are silenced, leaving just the 50-decibel hum of thousands of air conditioning units.
A world without people would be strangely silent. In many places, the dominant sound would be birdsong.
Two days after people, the New York City power grid is failing. And so is the trademark glow of hundreds of illuminated signs. These streets have seen blackouts before. In 2003, a massive East Coast power outage plunged Times Square into darkness for more than 12 hours. But this time, the blackout is permanent. In the light of day, New York's urban jungle is prowled by creatures unaccustomed to fending for themselves. The horses that once carried police officers and pulled Central Park carriages must adapt to a life with no humans to care for them. In a world of concrete and steel, can these horses survive? It's 6 months after people. New York City is dark, except for a strange glow in Times Square. Installed in 2009, this illuminated beacon of the human past is a billboard that doesn't rely at all on the municipal power grid. 90% of the sign's power is generated by 16 wind turbines. The rest comes from an array of 64 solar panels. The sign's power plant generates enough electricity to power 6 houses for a year. The turbine's blades were designed to resist freezing in winter and to automatically slow in the face of hurricane-force winds to prevent damage. The sign should keep glowing for years, unless something unexpected happens. One year after People, the plaza at Rockefeller Center in Midtown Manhattan is still a gathering place. Only now, it's animals that congregate here.
One of the changes that would take place in New York if people were out of the way is that the native animals would move back in. There are already a tremendous population of deer in the suburbs of New York. You may see deer right in the heart of the city.
In the time of humans, this concrete chasm was a plaza that transformed into an artificial ice rink every Christmas. This winter, Mother Nature provides her own ice.
What would happen is water would freeze during the winter on the rink area itself and would pile up. And during the spring, the little iceberg would melt and continue to add to the water underneath the buildings themselves. And that would begin to deteriorate the foundation.
In the springtime, the sunken plaza becomes like a giant flower pot.
The ice rink would definitely become a garden early. It would be wet more of the year, and that's good for growth.
Lording over this urban garden is the statue of Prometheus, a figure from Greek mythology credited with creating mankind. He now presides over the destruction of what man has created.